there, Simon from simonwood.com. I've got 4 Rieslings here, 3 of them from one company, but 1 from the other side of the world. So which should I do first? I'll do the other side of the world one. We are in Australia first, in the Clare Valley, with Taylor's stroke Wakefield, depending on how litigious you want to feel about what the company should be called. And this is their 2010, just Clare Valley Riesling. I think they've got a upper cuvee. I know they've got a, is it called St Andrews? I know there's a St Andrews Cabernet and a St Andrews Chardonnay, but not sure whether there's a Riesling in that upper tier. Anyway, 12.5% alcohol. Give it a whirl. Well, this already smells rather nice. Sometimes you come across young Australian Rieslings and they feel almost a bit too tight for their own good. I think as people have got more and more used to bottling wines with these screw caps, they're making sure that when the wine goes into the bottle, they're not putting too much sulfur dioxide in that little bit in the top. They don't need it to keep it fresh. The screw cap itself does that for them. So this has already got like quite a nice. Yes, it's got this citrus. It's got this slightly toasty, but almost like a plummy rhubarb character as well. It smells like it's going to be fresh, but quite a rich, full, rounded flavour. And I don't know if there's ever so slight influence from some botrytis grapes in there. There's a like kind of orange marmalade character flitting in and out. Will it flit in my mouth? Let's have a see. Rich, clean, tangy, pithy, bit of the mountain stream refreshing character about that. But then when you should think it's going to be on that light side, this middle palate just opens up and thinks, I'm actually quite fuller bodied than you expected. Still got some sleekness to it, still got freshness on the finish. Still, I think it's going to be a wine that's, that will go age pretty well for about at least 5 years and probably considerably longer. But very tasty now. It doesn't feel like there are any gawky edges that need to resolve themselves. So fill your boots, I think. Do like that. Okay, next 3 are all from Prince von Hessen in the Rheingau. And what order to do them? I mean, you'll see there's a tall bottle here, and I always think you should do the tallest bottle last, but it's got an animal on it, so I'm doing it first, in the theory that if it's got an animal on, then it's not as ambitious as some. Oh, it's going to be one of those screw caps that comes entirely off, is it? Well, let's have a see. No. In the meantime, this is one problem that maybe you don't get with corks. Is it going to come off all in one piece? I think we're going to have a slight interlude here because I can't get this off. Time passed. I'm going to have to go and get a knife. Well, I finally managed it. Took a bit of knife work to get through it. So let's see what the wine is first. Bach's Fillet. It's got a picture of a badger on. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It just says 2010 Rheingau Riesling. No Auslese, Spätlese, cabinet levels or anything. 12.5% alcohol. Maybe I should be doing it last because the others are 11.5 and 12%, but hey, it's probably the fullest bodied, but maybe the driest. Let's give it a whirl. Well, it smells like the freshness is, the screw cap's done its job, even though it was a bit of a git to get off. I get this slightly toasty citrus and really tight citrus, lime and a tart lemon rather than the riper orangey edge. But there's also a minerally earthiness as well coming through. Smells like it's going to be maybe one of those wines that I almost wish that they'd just left a little bit of sweetness in there. You can make dry wines, but sometimes you think what is possible is not necessarily what is desirable. Am I prejudicing it? Let's give it a whirl. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, it has got quite a weighty flavour. And if you're going to do a dry wine with Riesling and you've got quite high acidity, you need to have quite a lot of bulk to get the flavour to balance out the acidity. And here they've got it. So there's this. Yeah, it's weird because it had this more light, tight citrus smell, but when you come to taste it, it's more on that mandarin orange type of spectrum. Again, this minerality coming through, this earthiness on the finish. Taste, it's growing on me. I mean, the flavours I'm left with in my mouth are refined, grown up. If the Wakefield was a bit more flamboyant and showy, this one's a bit more Teutonic and straighter spine, but a bit more of the supermodel about it. We like that, even though it has a badger on the label. Let's see how we get on with the next one. This is just Riesling Prince von Hessen 11.5% alcohol. I did that one first because I thought it'd be the dry one. I thought this will be the slightly sweeter one, and then there's a cabinet. I may be completely wrong. Hey, at least I got the top off. Bit dumber here. I noticed the sulfur dioxide, the thing that's been put in there to keep it fresh. That feels like a wine that I'm going to need to do quite a bit of swirling to get it to show its true colours. There's a bit of that earthy toastiness in there, some citrus, bit of mineral, but yeah, a bit shyer than than Badger wine or whatever you want to call it. But as with Big Brother, smells reserved. When you come to taste it, the palate suddenly goes and just gets a broader, richer, rounder, but then you've still got this acidity holding it all together, reining it in, keeping the finish fresh, keeping it sprightly. For me, maybe not as classy a wine as the first one, but still pretty satisfying. On the lighter side, maybe a touch sweeter, I'm not sure. It may be that this one was more concentrated, so I didn't notice the sweetness. It's funny, when you've got acidity balanced with sweetness, sometimes you can have wines that are really quite high in sugar that you don't notice because this is this freshness and slightly tart acidity to round it out. Nice touch of green apple on the finish. Both of them pretty good. Final one, and this is the Riesling cabinet. All these 2010, so that one was 11.5% alcohol. We're up to 12% here. Reason I did this last, I thought, okay, probably from similar sweetness level, but it's got a bit more alcohol. Hey, am I wrong? Am I right? Let's give it a whirl. Well, I don't know if it's just the alcohol, but it feels like this is a richer, fuller, more fleshy wine. So some of it will be the body, some of it will be the alcohol, some of it will be the sweetness. But the fruit flavours here, they've gone beyond that sort of quite taut citrus and opening out into the plum, maybe even a touch of rhubarb in there. Smells good. And there's a more exotic, almost gingerbread toastiness and vanilla characters going in there, more on the white floral side. Yes, you do. That sweetness comes across in what I call the sweet and sour. You get this mix of tartness, and then the sugar balances it, and then the tartness kicks in again, and then the sweetness softens it and rounds it out. It's a nice tension in the mouth. I like it. The two dry wines, I think I prefer. This is the one that probably is the one that's. I don't know which of these will keep. I think sugar will keep this wine going on longer. But in terms of ones that I want to drink over the next couple of years, I think Big Badger wine would probably my favourite of the three. Maybe I'd put my money on the cabinet for the long term, but I enjoy all three of them, and the Wakefield was pretty good too. So, nice set of four. Apart from the slight accident with the screw cap. Hey, see you soon.